Kia ora, hello Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1774. Lawrence of Arabia from 1962. So what did we think of that? But first of all, how was your Sunday? Was it nice and relaxing? I did a little bit of food prep. I got my kitchen cleaned up. What else did I do today? Oh, I sorted through some boxes. I'm on a mission to find, there's two things I need to find right now, and I'm on a mission and I haven't found either of them. So we did, we were supposed to do yard work this morning, but we got home from our walk. It was already 83 degrees when we got home from walk. For those in New Zealand, that's in the 30s. We got home from that, and of course, I was not going outside without having anything to eat. So I sat down and had breakfast and got a little distracted at that point. And then when I went to go outside, it was already 90 something degrees Fahrenheit. I was sort of like, yeah, no. So we're going to try and get it done tomorrow morning. If I get it done early, like if I can, but then it was Sunday and we kind of slept in a little bit too. So our walk was a little later than normal. So yes, the temperature was up a little higher than it should have been, but we're going to try for tomorrow morning. But I do need to, especially mow it, because it's got these little thin weed things that stick up, and it's got like 3 or 4 little thin things that come off the top of this little thing that comes up, and stem that comes up, and they're just all over my thing. So I'm sort of like, yeah, either I get out there with the weed whacker and just whack them all down, or I get out there with the mower and mow the whole grass. I don't know. But I've also got weeds coming through too, so I need to get out there and get them sprayed. But they turn around on the weed stuff, and it even says on there, to only apply it in certain temperatures. While we were already beyond that with this thing. So that's just one of those things. But we ended up going through some boxes, sorting through some boxes. I had some boxes from the RV, which I had from months ago that I had sitting in the garage, and I bought them over during the winter time. I packed them up in the winter time. I said, oh yeah, I've got to bring them into the house before it gets too hot in the summer. So I finally brought all those in, and one of the things I was looking for was supposed to be in one of those boxes, but it wasn't. So now I'm sort of like racking my brain and looking around going, well, where else would I have put the thing? And there's a certain notebook I'm looking for. And then I had to chuckle. I opened up one box. It was not a box from the RV. It was a box which I still have. I still got a few boxes to go through. It was another box. I figured I'll just try another box. I opened up this one box and started laughing. I know I have a problem with Post-it notes. Yeah, there was a few unopened packets of Post-it notes in this box. Yeah. It wasn't the full box. I will admit that it wasn't the full box, but one was a box about this long, about this high, and then there was a plastic, the 18 that come in plastic wrap, but the box had more. The box of them had more in it. I know it had, I think it was like 36. It was 36 3x3s, which is your regular Post-it note. It was 36 pads in this box, because I remember reading on the thing there was 100 pads, and actually might have been 35. There was 100 pieces of paper per pad. And I was like thinking, oh, that's like 3,500, 3,600, because, yeah, so it's up around there. It was just the regular, just regular size Post-its. But this one particular box either had 35 in them or 36. The other one was an 18 wrap. And then there was several others as well. So there was like 4 packs of these. Yeah, it was. So, so I've got through some, and I was going to consolidate boxes, and I really didn't feel like doing it, but I've got boxes that are sitting there that are like all but empty, or mostly empty, or half empty, and I could very easily consolidate them down, but I just really couldn't be bothered doing that at the time. So I was just like, put them into my craft room, and I had the tables in the middle there, and I'd put on the table, and then I'd sort stuff from them into piles as to where they needed to go. And then whatever was left in the box, just the lid went back on, and went and stacked it over the side of the room. So we'll figure out the consolidation later. I just needed to get them in from the garage, and I was sorting them as they came in from doing a very quick sort through them as they came in from the garage. But yeah, so and then did some meal prep, cleaned my kitchen. Yeah, that's kind of been and took a nap. That's kind of been my day. So it's been a Sunday. It's like hot outside. That's all I can do. That's hot. Zephyr kept wanting to go. It was 102 degrees at one point, and she was wanting out, so I let her out back. And what did she do? Goes and lays on the patio in the sunshine, because the sun had come around the other side of the house, where it cut across the corner of the covered patio. And so she went and laid in the sun. And I'm sort of like, really? No. So she came in. Well, there you are. You going to decide to join us, huh? So Lawrence of Arabia. What did I think of that? It came out in 1962 with Peter O'Toole playing Lawrence of Arabia. It was a long movie. Yeah. The beginning of it was really weird, because it was this beautiful, it had a great music score. The music in this movie was phenomenal. It was really, really good. And when the movie started, I thought there was something wrong with the movie, because it had an orchestra playing for like the first 5 minutes on a black screen. There was nothing on screen. It was 5 minutes, about 5 minutes of nothing but music. And I'm like, is there something wrong with this thing? I'm like fast forwarding, reversing. Did I miss anything? And I finally had a picture, and I went, oh, we need to go back a little bit, and looked at things around 5 minutes. And it started off with in the credits, they did all the credits. This guy, they're looking down on him, and from the sky, and looking down on him. And you see this guy walking around in this yard. He's playing with this motorcycle. He gets on this motorcycle, goes for a ride, and he ends up crashing his motorcycle, and ends up going over this goes over this wall, and all you see is his goggles hanging from a tree. And if you look on my Facebook page, where I put the pictures like I normally do at the beginning, you see him riding the thing, and riding his motorcycle, and he ends up having this accident. He goes flying off the road, and you see that there's a picture of his goggles hanging in the tree. But yeah, he was only 46 when he passed. So, then it's, and so then you see that accident. Then you go and see the funeral, because they show you the bust of him that's in one of the cathedrals in England there, where they actually have a bust of him. And it was all engraved with his 1888, I think it was. Yeah, 1888 to 1835. So you see that on the bottom of this bust of him. And then these people are walking out of the cathedral, and there's a reporter running around trying to interview these guys about, did they know him? Did they not know him? And I thought, this is a kind of a weird way to start a movie. But then they went back in time, and you got to see the whole thing of when he was in the army, and when he was going through the different the areas in the desert and everything else, and meet different tribes and that sort of thing. And he definitely had the gift of the gab when it came to talking with the different Arab tribes that he met along the way, and creating his own, being able to get across the desert on a camel. And what interested me was that they all rode camel side saddle. Normally in movies where I have seen camels, I have seen people riding astride. In this one, everybody was side saddle on the camels. And I'm like, that's really weird. I've never seen that before, because I've just never seen it done that way before. But everybody was riding side saddle on the camels, and their trek across the desert was just incredible. And then they lost a guy along the way. This camel's just walking along, and the guy's not there. And Lawrence insisted on turning around and going back for him. And the others he had the prince he had with him, or he had the prince with him, and one other guy. The prince was played by Alec Guinness. And he kept saying, no, we keep going. He's already going to be dead. His nose turning around. It's, because they were crossing this area at night when it was cooler. They said, it's going to be daylight in a few hours. And by midday, you got no hope of surviving the sun out here, and all this sort of thing. But he insisted. He ended up turning around and going back. And he had these two young lads with him too, who also went with him as well. And they ended up finding the guy and bringing him back. And there was one of the kids that he was with was on foot. And so they met up somehow. I'm not sure how one kid ended up on foot. Not sure about that. but they found the guy and they met up with everybody. And I knew that he wasn't going to perish because I thought this is just like, we're only like 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour into the movie. We still got another 2 hours to go of this, 2.5 hours to go of this thing. And it ended up being that it was 3 hours and 48 minutes, which came out to the 228 minutes that we were talking about yesterday with the different things. But for some reason on the description of the movie, it had that it was 2 hours and 3 hours and what did I say? You say 3 hours, and it came out to like 217 minutes. So when we actually played the thing, it was 3 hours and 38. It was 3 hours and 48 minutes, which was 228 minutes. It came out to be. So yes, there was this whole thing about going back and picking up this guy and then meeting up with everybody, and oh my gosh, we've got him. And then they met up with this other tribe, and he convinced them to come with them, and it was just sort of like, this guy is, he's a British soldier in the army, and he's just like gathering all these people as he goes along. And I'm like, he really has the gift of the gab. He really is getting them to do what he wants to do. He had this goal in mind, and we found out later on that he wasn't supposed to be in this part of Turkey. He didn't even have orders to be in that part of Turkey. He just decided he was going to approach the Turkish border from this direction, and the only way to do it was to get all these Arabs to come in and help him. And I'm just sort of like, okay, because we found out later on that he wasn't actually supposed to be there, because they were surprised that he had taken this town, and because it was a major port. That was one of the reasons that he took it, and he had taken it from behind because their guns can't turn around to fire. And I'm just sort of like, this guy's really got the gift of the gab with talking with people and getting them to do what he wanted them to do, and getting their help, enlisting their help is what he was very good at doing. And but we were 2 hours and 19 minutes into this when intermission came along, and I'm like, oh, we have an intermission. Well, intermission on the movie was 4 minutes long. It was a 4-minute long one. Again, black screen, music playing, and I'm just like, okay, this must be how this movie is supposed to be. And then we came back for the last hour and a half of this movie, and some of the trials that he went through, these 2 young lads he had with them, and it was right back at the beginning of the movie that he got them, that they just started following him, and so he kind of like took them under his wing, and they became, wherever he went, they went type of thing. And he ends up in the desert heading towards Cairo, and he loses his compass. Then one of the boys dies, and then he gets harassed by all these people at the military headquarters there, because he's got this Arab with him, and people are going, you can't bring him in here, you can't da 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 da. And so he's very insistent on the fact that he's with me, and he's going to get a bed, and you're going to treat him like a real human being, which I thought, I love that. It was will I watch it again? It was a very good movie. I enjoyed it. There were some parts I was just like, I'm not sure about this, but based on real life. So which parts did they fictionize? Which parts did they did not? I don't know, because I don't know the full story. But it was just a very interesting movie. And it sort of seemed like he didn't want to be. There was times you sort of thought, well, does he really want to be the leader of these people or not, because of the way he was acting? Then other times he was sort of like, come to me, I'm the leader. And he sort of like seemed to be like he wanted to be the head honcho. He wanted all the publicity and stuff. And then there's times he's like shying away from it. So I got very mixed messages from this guy. Will I watch it again at 3 hours and 48 minutes? I don't know. I may watch it again later on, but it's not what I'm going to watch on a yearly basis. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. So I'm still sort of like, do I really want to keep watching this or not? And do I want to watch it again? All I can say, it was a very long movie, which puts it in my book of I may watch it again down the road at some point, or I may not. If I don't, it doesn't matter. If I do, we watch it. It's just one of those movies that you may watch again, you may not. So that was that movie. And it's a movie that I've heard about for a lot of years. Like with Gone with the Wind, when we started this movie fest, I had always heard about it and never seen it. And so I finally got those 2 mega movies out of the way. Although I'm going lighthearted, and then tonight I'm going lighthearted, but not in length, because the movie I'm watching tonight is 3 hours, just over 3 hours. I'm watching another long movie tonight. Maybe I should switch that one with one I'm going to watch tomorrow night. I don't know, but tonight we're watching Around the World in 80 Days with David Niven. It came out in, where's my piece of paper here? My piece of paper, it's an Excel spreadsheet. 1956. So this is David Niven's version. And there's several versions of this movie out there. There's ones that I've seen. Let's see, who have I seen in this one? Yeah, there's several. Man, I'm just typing it into IMDb to see how many there are. There are a lot. Let's see. Out of them, I have seen probably 3 or 4 different versions. Yeah, let's see. They've got okay, so there's one in 2004 with Jackie Chan. I don't think I've seen that one. Where did it go? It's supposed to be searching. Thank you. There's one that came out in 2021 with David Tennant. I haven't seen that one. There's one that came out in 1989 with Pierce Brosnan. I have seen that one. There was another one in 2021, which I have not seen. There was another one in 1988, which I haven't seen. There's a lot of them. Around the World in 80 Days, which was a mini series with Michael Palin, was really, really cool. If you don't know who Michael Palin is, he is part of Monty Python's Flying Circus. And he did a trip around the world in 80 days, and it was done as a TV miniseries. It is awesome. If you get a chance to see it, go see it. He uses, his humor is in there. So he's got a lot of humor in there, but he's also got a lot of smarts as well. And it's just a really, really cool, it's a really cool miniseries to watch if you get a chance to watch it. And some of the things he does, some of the things he sees, and everything else. And I'm just looking down. There's a lot of movies that have Around the World in 80 Days in them, but the one we're doing is from 1956 with David Niven, and I believe it was the original, the first one done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. If you don't know what it is, it's about a guy who, let's see, it says here, a Victorian Englishman bets that with the new steamships and the railway, he can circumnavigate the globe in 80 days. And so there's some people along the way do try to stop him because they are in cahoots with the people back in England there, waiting for him to fail, wanting him to fail. And then there's also those that help him along. There's things that sidetrack him that might get him off schedule. And there's all these different adventures he has as he goes around the world. So this is the first one I ever saw of, the first rendition I ever saw of Around the World in 80 Days. I know there's lots of others that have come out. Like I said, I've seen the one with Pierce Brosnan in it, but I haven't seen there's 2 I want to go back and see, but I haven't seen them yet. I could probably do a month of Around the World in 80 Days with the list that came up. There's even a Mickey Mouse Around the World in 80 Days. I swear it's on the list. It's right there on the list. Mickey Mouse Around the World in 80 Days. That was, let's see, when did that one come out? I saw it on here. Where was it? Oh, come on. Where'd it go? It was here on the list. Hang on. Oh, Mickey's Around the World in 80 Days came out in 2005. So there's even a Disney version, which I didn't know about. Yeah. But so yeah, 1956 is the one we're watching tonight. I know there's something about rescuing a woman. I haven't seen this movie for a while, but one thing that sticks out is there's one where he goes and rescues a woman because her husband, and I think they're in India. Yeah, I think they're in India. And her husband has passed, and so they're doing his funeral. What do they call it? It's the one where they light the body on fire or something. And she's supposed to be killed. She's supposed to be burned with him while she's alive. I'm like, really weird. Okay, yeah. So that's one adventure I remember from that movie. And they get chased through the forest and everything. And when they rescue her, that's just one that I remember from that. So I'm looking forward to being reacquainted with this movie tonight. It's lighthearted. It is 3 hours. It's just over 3 hours. Let's see. IMDb puts that one at, and I've lost the one I'm watching tonight. There it is, 1956. They say it's 2 hours and 55 minutes. And my DVD says 3 hours and 1 minute. So we'll see which version we get. And but I'm looking forward to seeing that one tonight. So we're about to head out in the heat. I have no idea what it's like outside. I just know it's hot. I don't like this time of the year. It's just too hot. Thank goodness for solar panels is all I can say. Let's see, it's currently 40 degrees Celsius outside, which means it's around 104 Fahrenheit. Because I know 104 Fahrenheit is 40 degrees Celsius. That one I do know. Let's see. It might be 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's have a look. Sees. Yeah, it's 105, but feels like 104. So we're going to be going. You're going to see what I've got coming up. Oh, it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. You're going to be glad to be in California next weekend. So it's supposed to be a monsoon season, but I haven't seen a drop of rain either. And there's none in the forecast. But yeah, we're supposed to got to 106 today. That's getting up there. All those little triple digit numbers. That's the Fahrenheit. Hang on, let me switch it to the Celsius for all of my family back in New Zealand. And we're going from tomorrow we're cool at 40 degrees Celsius. So there's the, I don't know if that's going to show up very well or not, but yeah, that's this coming week in the Celsius. So anyway, I'm gabbling. I got to go take a dog for a walk. Is there any breeze out there? I can tell you this, my yard looks pretty good, despite the fact it needs a lawn mowing. And the guy across the road he usually does his yard work about the same time I do, he's got a tree out there that's shaped and it's in desperate need of a cut, of being cut. And then he's got a few weeds coming through in his front yard as well. So yeah, there's a lot of us out here suffering with weeds right now, and overgrown trees. And for some reason, my sprinkler system doesn't work. My sprinkler, I can manually turn it on, but I cannot get it to automatically turn on. And I'm kind of thankful for that because it means the grass isn't going to grow very quickly. Although the weeds with no water have gone, I'm like, how are they doing? There's no water around for them. I'm here in a desert climate and I don't have the sprinkler on. I think I've turned it on once in the last month. No, twice in the last month. And the weeds have gone crazy. I haven't watered it for 2 weeks and the weeds have gone nuts. I don't know. Maybe they need more dry than they do wet. Maybe that might be the problem. I've got to water them so they don't sprout. I don't know. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to go take the dog for a walk. We're going to come back, have dinner, and then we're going to sit down and watch Around the World in 80 Days from 1956 with David Niven in it. So go out, and if you've seen Lawrence of Arabia, please let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie. What are some of your favorite scenes from that? If you've seen Around the World in 80 Days with David Niven from 1956, please leave your comments there as well. And we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.